Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.
Hello, I'm Lori Steiner. Welcome to Golden Opportunities.
Today, calling all senior business experts. We have a job for you. Ready to ponder the world around you? We'll take a global path and explore our shared heritage through art. Then, chilling out with a hot and cold stock market, we'll have some sizzling advice. Plus, it is Senior Americans Month and time to give back. We'll explain the health benefits of volunteering and how the current budget deal might change your Medicare benefits.
It's time to get GOing, so pull up a chair and join us at our kitchen table for Golden Opportunities. Do you want to get paid in six figures? We have just the position for you. It will combine your business expertise and the satisfaction of helping others. And the six figures you'll make? S-M-I-L-E-S, smiles. Akron SCORE is one of 325 chapters in the United States and is a dedicated group of 65 volunteers who make business dreams a reality. Joining us today is Peter Ryerson, chairman of Akron SCORE 81, which covers Summit, Medina, Portage, and Wayne counties. So welcome to our show here today. Now, helping entrepreneurs make it in the business world it makes great business sense. It's a win-win for everybody involved, right?
Yes, 97% of the businesses in the country are small businesses, and we help them start and be successful.
Okay, and so how do you offer that help? Is it in person? Is it by meetings? What do you do?
We do face-to-face counseling, sometimes on the telephone, sometimes with electronics. We do workshops, and we try to help people do the right things.
Okay, so the majority of your staff are actually volunteers who have experience in the business world, right? And I'm sure you could always use more volunteers. Maybe some of our viewers would be interested in that.
SCORE, you're right, they're experienced people that have worked in business. Some are still working, but we do things to get them to really how can we get people that are younger become very successful? So
you're drawing on that the mentorship kind of a relationship, and by mentoring these small businesses in the community, we're helping the economy rise, we're helping everything, right?
Absolutely. Yes, we do. If you're like myself, each of us have our own styles. We do things a little bit differently, and as we're doing it, we're trying to get people to think about what they're trying to do. So I normally will ask, what type of business do you want? Okay? Have you ever done that type of work before?
It's always helpful if you know what you're getting into, right?
Oh, yes. I want to have a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? I make coffee at home. Oh, my goodness.
It's a little different.
So then we try to get them to write a plan for their life. Where do you want to be when you're 70? How do you want to get there? With that, do you have a will? Do you have a living will? Do you have a power of attorney? Oh, I have one of my power of attorney is my brother, and he's in another state, doesn't work in this state. Then do you have what is your credit rating? If you don't mind, well, I have 513. You're not going to be able to afford to have that business. How do we get that fixed? Then how do you understand the basics of that business? Have you done the things that you need to do? Do you have sufficient funding to start? I have $100. No, that's not going to work.
Yeah, that's not quite enough.
Do you have a name for your business? Is that name available? Have you registered the business? Do you have an EIN? Are you going to be profit or nonprofit? Are you going to, where's the business going to be located? Do you have any idea how to maintain your financial records? Do you have an accountant?
This is all such important information. People don't realize that they need. So this is a great service that your volunteers can provide for people.
It's between the counselors and the people that do the workshops. All of that has to be put together, and it has to work.
All right. If you're ready to share your knowledge and help a small business score, then give Peter a call. My thanks to Peter for joining us today.
Thank you.
For more information on SCORE, call 330-379-3163 or log on to www.akron.score.org. Next, Global Collection. But first, the Supreme Court ruled it was not a new invention since the product was already in use. But Hyman Lipman's sharp idea made American students' mistakes a thing of the past. What was his clever design that continues to increase our productivity to this day? We'll rub out the answer when we return.
At Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center, children and adults can receive comprehensive hearing evaluations, find the latest in quality hearing aid brands such as Phonak, and experience the exceptional care of our audiologists. Did you know hearing aids are now covered by some insurance plans? Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center accepts Anthem, CareSource, UAW, and some Medicare Advantage plans. For more information, call 216-231-8787 or visit chsc.org.
This practical innovation is a mainstay in the student's backpack and has helped us speed up our ability to make corrections. Hyman Lipman had the nifty idea to combine the pencil and the eraser.
You want to travel the world and experience art treasures, but you just don't have the resources. Good news! We have the world-renowned Cleveland Museum of Art right in our own backyard. The current exhibit, Recent Acquisitions 2014 to 2017, features a selection of rare pieces of art from around the globe. Joining us today is Heather Lemonides, Deputy Director and Chief Curator of the Cleveland Museum of Art. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Must have been difficult to pick out just what should be in this exhibit.
It was indeed. As you say, there are 29 objects in the exhibition, and we had to choose from over 2,000
oh my goodness.
works of art that have been acquired since 2014. So there was a lot of selection involved.
Absolutely,
yes.
yeah. Is it all in one gallery?
The exhibition itself is in our Julia and Larry Pollock Focus Gallery, but the experience extends beyond the exhibition itself. There is a free brochure that you can pick up in the exhibition, and there's also an app on our Art Lens app.
Oh, so there's an app
tour.
for that, huh?
There's an app for that, exactly, that leads you through the galleries so you can discover other recent acquisitions throughout the museum.
Oh, okay. So that's typically the best way to kind of see the whole collection then. Have your app, have your brochure, right?
Either your app or your brochure, and you can first take in the 29 highlighted recent acquisitions and then discover 50 more out throughout the museum.
Does the app have audio that can tell you about
yes,
things?
in fact, you can see images and a text tour of all 50 objects, but then there's an audio tour where I lead you through and talk about 7 particular objects.
Very cool.
Yes.
So the museum actually acquired a painting as a part of this exposition, is that right?
We did. We acquired, there are 3 paintings in the exhibition. There are...
Oh, here's one of them. Oh.
Yes, that painting is by an artist called Heinrich Davringhausen. He's a German artist. This painting you'll discover out in the museum. It's in our German Expressionist gallery.
Oh, you gave a clue. Now people can't find it on their own.
Well, I find that gallery, and you'll find that painting. Yes, it was painted right at the beginning of the First World War, and we purchased this painting at auction in Munich, in Germany, just recently. So we were thrilled to have that painting.
So what else can we expect to see in the exhibit? What kind of the highlights?
Yes, in the exhibition you'll find what I hope are some compelling and interesting comparisons. There are photographs, a very contemporary photograph by an artist called Peter Hugo, and that's being compared with an African object and also medieval sculpture. So there are some surprising juxtapositions. There is a painting that was painted around 1700 by an artist called Carlo Maratti of the woman who became his wife. And that is compared with a Victorian photograph by a woman artist, Julia Margaret Cameron. So part of the fun of the show is seeing these unexpected juxtapositions and comparisons. You'll also see Chinese ceramics, Japanese porcelain, a Japanese painting, pre-Columbian gold objects. As
A
well
little of
as
everything for everybody.
Exactly. There is something
right.
for everyone. And to show the breadth of our encyclopedic collection, that's what we wanted to do in this small focus exhibition.
Sounds like a great exhibition. Our thanks to Heather for opening our eyes to the art riches right here in Cleveland. To find out more about recent acquisitions 2014 to 17, give the Cleveland Museum of Art a call. The number's next.
Find out more by calling the Cleveland Museum of Art at 216-421-7350 or click to www.clevelandart.org. Next, keep calm and carry on. Looking for places to go, things to do? Welcome to our community calendar. Swing on down to the Canton Blues Fest. This marks the 17th year as Northeast Ohio's premier free blues festival. All are welcome to slide into Canton's Market Square to enjoy the jams on June 8th and 9th. For all the details, call 330-458-2054 or log on to www.cantonbluesfest.com.
It's easy to remain calm when the water is still, but when the waves kick up a bit, we all get a little anxious and think about reaching for a life preserver. Does your portfolio have a flotation device for when the market gets choppy? Jim Lineweaver is here to keep our heads above water. Jim is a certified financial planner professional with the Lineweaver Financial Group. Now, I know market volatility is part of the game if you're going to be invested in stocks and in the market, but I still get nervous when I see a drop.
You do, yeah, most people do. It's not comfortable and it's not great for your retirement. But we have to understand that last year we almost had no volatility, and people got pretty comfortable with that. But that's not the norm. So then come January and the beginning of this year, you had a lot of volatility with everything that was going on overseas, and you had the new tax plan to decipher, and there was a lot of, some of the tweets didn't help, but needless to say, there was a lot of volatility, a lot of news out there, and people were trying to figure out how to digest it. And so you can measure this by what's called the VIX, or the volatility index, and that has spiked up. So you saw going into the beginning of February as much as a 10% drop in the market. People were kind of panicking a little bit, but not too bad. Came back up, and then the following month we had another 5% correction. So I think what's going to happen is, as we decipher all these things through the year, things will calm down a little bit.
Okay, and calm is better.
Calm is better.
So should I reduce my exposure to stocks since they tend to be a little bit more volatile?
Well, what you always want to do is there's certain disciplines. So if you have had a run up in your stocks like last year, like in the beginning of January, what we did is we automatically rebalanced our portfolio for our clients. That consisted of two things. It wasn't only just saying, hey, if you had a 70-30 mix of equities to fixed income and it ran up to 80-20, let's take that extra 10% back off the table, reallocate it. But it was also, let's look at the different sectors that will be performing the best over the next maybe 6 to 12 months. Some of those might have considered more international, more small cap that would benefit from the tax law changes, things along that nature. So it is important to not just throw in the towel when you get volatility, because hopefully you're going to live, another 20 or 30 years if you are in retirement, and maybe a lot of these stocks pay good dividends. You don't want to be forced to have a sell, though, if you all of a sudden need money. So there's a lot of planning that goes behind it if you have stocks in a portfolio.
Okay. Is there any time a market downturn could actually help me?
It can, believe it or not. So
All right.
nobody likes to lose money or anything, but there's this thing out there called a Roth conversion. And so if you have IRA monies, and everybody knows at 70.5, you have to start taking your withdrawals, and then every year thereafter you have to take more and more. So if you have a drop in your IRA, you could convert it, and let's say you had 50,000, it went down to 80,000, you could convert it to a Roth, and let's say those holdings stay the same, then you're going to pay taxes on the 80,000, but then forever in the future, what's going to happen is you don't have to ever pay any taxes on that Roth coming back out. And in that scenario, you save taxes on about $20,000.
That can be worth it.
It can be.
So this sounds complicated. So do you work with each of your clients to come up with their own individual plan?
We do, because there's no cookie cutter plan that fits all. So not only do we have the tax side, but the financial, in coordination with the legal and everything too. So it's very important when you're dealing with market volatility, taxes, insurance, that you're going to work with somebody that can really put a plan together together for your specific situation. Make sure you're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's for a comfortable retirement.
And quickly, if I'm not planning on using my retirement funds as I'm going into retirement, should I just go crazy and try to invest and get a lot of risk going just to grow them a little?
Well, you could try, but that's kind of rolling the dice in Vegas. I'm not sure that's the best thing. So be very prudent. You want to measure your risk with your reward. There's alpha and other things that you look at when you're investing. Maybe you can speculate on a small piece of money that you know you're not going to need, but be very careful because, quick returns can also be quick losses too.
Quick downs.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, good advice. Our thanks to Jim for giving us this great advice on how to stay calm when the market may not be. To help you stay afloat in the stock market, give Line River Financial Group a call.
To find out more, call the Lineweaver Financial Group at 1-888-313-4009 or log on to www.lineweaver.net. Up next, come together right now. It's time to get up and go, an exercise segment on golden opportunities.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Carbon from Breakout Fitness, and today we're going to show you how to strengthen those ever-important shoulder muscles. You ready to go?
I am absolutely ready to go.
Let's do it. We have exercise bands here. This is called a front raise using our exercise band. What we're going to do is we're going to step on the center of the band. Okay, we want to again offset our feet so that way we make sure we stay nice and balanced. Maintain very good posture. All we're going to do is simply bring the handle of the band up to about shoulder height and then lower it back down to your thigh, okay? Again, we're looking for 15 to 20 repetitions on this one. Use slow and controlled movements and make sure you're breathing. How you feeling, Lori?
Oh, that's tough.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
this is a good
one.
Lori is doing a very good variation of this exercise where she's using both arms together. So you can do either individually or like Lori's doing here, you can do them both together.
Cut time in half.
That's right, fantastic. All right, everybody, 12 to 15, 2 to 3 sets. And now it's your turn to get up and go.
For your copy of the exercise booklet, send $1 for postage to Golden Opportunities, 6105 Parkland Boulevard, Suite 140, Mayfield Heights, Ohio, 44124.
You told yourself you were going to volunteer, but you just keep putting it off. You don't know where to start. You tell yourself you're too busy or you're too old. But actually, you're never too old to make a difference when it comes to stepping up. Joy Banished, Executive Director of the Greater Cleveland Volunteers, is here to help us get started on our volunteer path. So welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Now, I hear that we've been in the month of May, which is Older Americans Month, and the theme is Engage at Every Age, right?
Correct. And this theme was selected this year to highlight two things about older adults, one being that adults of any age, and especially older adults, have so much to give to our community and can stay engaged and active. It also highlights that you're never too old to take part in volunteering or giving back in your community.
And it helps you. I mean, and you're here to say, too, that volunteering actually enriches the volunteer, right? If I go do something, it's going to help my health and my physical and mental health and my being?
Correct. So there's been a lot of research done, especially about older adults that volunteer, and one of the studies showed that people who volunteer regularly, and that means at least 100 or more hours each year, have improved health, both physical health, mental health, and increased social circles and network and connections with people in the community. Another study showed that people who volunteer at least 2 different organizations have a 44% less mortality rate than people who don't volunteer. So it really does help you both physically and mentally.
Yeah, if you're never too old. You can be older even yet if you volunteer.
That's true.
How can volunteering help someone who's been maybe unemployed for a period of time?
Well, there's also been research on that, and the studies are showing that people who volunteer and include it on their resume, which is a key component of that, have a more likely opportunity to get a job. And one of the studies showed that people who volunteer and include what they did on their resume have a 27% higher chance of getting hired than those who do not volunteer or do not write it on the resume. Many people forget to include that on their resume.
It's important, right?
It is, because it shows that you're dedicated to helping the community, shows you have connections, and shows that if you were unemployed for a period of time that you did keep active in the community and doing things.
And plus you're meeting people who might just have a job for you.
That's very true.
Can you give us some kind of an example of what kind of assignments are available through your organization?
Oh, sure. We work with more than 100 different nonprofits throughout Cuyahoga County. So there's a wide range of opportunities, regular ongoing assignments or short-term projects or one-time only events. And they're available weekdays, evenings, weekends.
Whenever you are, right?
Right. And some examples of things we're recruiting volunteers for right now. We're looking for volunteers who are willing to tutor or mentor children through a variety of programs. Also looking for volunteers who are willing to help adults. For example, study for their GED exam or to mentor people that are coming out of prison to help them find a place to live, get back into the community. We have volunteers that work with the homeless population doing mentoring type work. Of course, many of our volunteers are involved in helping with food distribution through a wide variety of like hunger centers and meal programs, Meals on Wheels, food banks. There's just endless opportunities. If you enjoy arts and culture, there's lots of opportunities there too.
Wow, it sounds like a great program. As we start winding down Older Americans Month, make sure to engage at every age. Stay physically and mentally healthy by signing up with the Greater Cleveland Volunteers. Our thanks to Joy for joining us today, and her information is next.
Find out more by calling the Greater Cleveland Volunteers at 216-391-9500 or visit www.greaterclevelandvolunteers.org. Next, new budget, new changes.
I'm Dr. Stephanie Christian of Timeless Laser and Skincare. We help men and women achieve healthy, radiant skin at any age. Because when you feel good about how you look, it changes everything.
The all-new TrueSculpt 3D is a revolutionary non-invasive body sculpting technology that diminishes fat. We can now offer our patients impressive results and comfort throughout the procedure. Get the look you want with TrueSculpt 3D.
Visit us in Westlake or at timelesslaserskin.com.
Did you miss a phone number or website? Then here's your second chance, because we're going to list all of that information again. Then we'll be back to look for changes in Medicare. Ever had a time where you needed extra therapy following an accident or an injury, and you're worried that your Medicare insurance wouldn't cover it? Well, that might be all in the past now, due to some changes made by Congress. Here to explain is my law partner, Mike Solomon.
Hi, Lori.
So, what changed in the law?
Well, you know, one of the things that happened is that the Medicare, as it previously existed, they would cover, there would be an annual cap on certain sort of expenses dealing with occupational therapy or speech therapy or just general physical therapy. The limit was each year $2,010. And if you went above that, you wouldn't be covered. So what happened every time is Congress, when they got close to the end of the year, would pass some sort of extension. So the trouble was people didn't know. So every year they'd go through that nerve-wracking period not knowing if all their physical therapy was going to be covered, or speech or occupational therapy. So they changed the law. And what happened was that this last budget bill that the president signed got rid of that limitation, that 2010 limitation. So now there's no limit, and it just depends on if it's medically needed and necessary, then it's approved and you're covered by Medicare.
Okay, well that sounds very promising for people. So were there any other changes that are of benefit to our viewers that happened in this last budget bill?
Yeah, the big one dealing with prescription coverage, Part D of Medicare, and that's really confusing anyway. As anyone
Yes, it always has been, you're right.
I know when I tried, figuring out what plan to get and all that, but one of the problems that they all had was is when you hit a certain point, you were covered by Part D, your prescriptions were covered, and then it hit the infamous, I should say, donut hole. you had to pay 100% of your own costs. For some people, that could be thousands of dollars. So it could add up to a lot of money. So what Congress did in this last budget bill, that donut hole was scheduled to disappear, I believe in 2020. They accelerated it a year. So next year, 2019, they get rid of the donut hole. And then once you hit what used to be the donut hole, the government pays, you're only out of pocket 25%. And then if you get above the donut hole, then you fall back into regular Medicare, and you end up just having Medicare take most of it, and you pay a little portion, depending, again, whether you use the Medicare Advantage or you're on a supplemental coverage. It's still complicated no matter what.
So it's important when you're first starting out with Medicare, or when you have that open enrollment time every year, to make sure your plan covers what you need.
Right. They suggest, and I'm going to be doing this myself, is to get all your medicines and look at the plan you have, because sometimes you find out your particular plan doesn't cover enough of that particular prescription. So
they have a formulary, right, for the prescription, so that your pill better be on that, or they're not going to cover it.
That's right. So if you're going to use the same medicine over and over again, then take the time before the end of the year. I think October is the time that you have that window to start look at the prescription plans out there and figure out what you need.
All right, and next year it'll be better.
Yes.
Thanks to Mike for explaining the new improved Medicare rules stemming from the new budget bill. The changes provide security for payment of therapies for Medicare recipients, plus reduces the cost of prescriptions as the drug companies just continue to raise those costs. This is good medicine. For more information, contact Mike. His number's next.
Call Solomon, Steiner, and Peck at 1-888-236-5173 for more information, or to schedule a speaker for your organization, or log on to www.ssnplaw.com.
Thanks for joining us. On next week's show, senior resources at your fingertips, plus a personal EMS senior outreach program, and the best time to take Social Security. But until then, please remember to make the most of your golden opportunities.
If you'd like to join our kitchen conversation, visit our website, www.goldenopportunities.tv. Like us on Facebook. Call us at 440-742-GO-TV or email us at kitchen@goldenopportunities.tv. We'd love to hear from you.
Golden Opportunities is paid for by Elder Productions.